It's not the weekly poll, it's Absolute Comics with Benny and Sal. This is the show that we bring to you every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern right here at twitch.tv/comicstorian. It's also uploaded to Spotify and iTunes, where it's currently in review, so hopefully by the time you're watching this or listening to this, it's up there. It also gets uploaded a week later to our YouTube channels. And if you want to support the show, you can go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch channel or go to either Patreon, patreon.com/comicpop or patreon.com/comicstorian, where we try to simultaneously release this episode for our lowest tiers. So you can support your favorite host right there, right then. That is how this show is receiving its funding, guys. If you want the show to continue, I would do one of those. Also, Dan is currently working on getting our merch store to be updated with the Absolute Comics t-shirt. It'll probably be up by the tomorrow kind of a time frame. So by the time most of you are watching this and it's not live, you will have an official Absolute Comics TV show t-shirt. And don't forget about the Comic Story and Podcast Network sponsor, G Fuel, where if you go to the checkout, you can use the code COMICS at checkout. You get 10% off your order of G Fuel, where you can get great energy drinks, hydration drinks, and candy. They got candy. It's Pop Rocks. Makes my mouth feel weird.
I've tried their cotton candy. It's actually not bad. I like it.
That is a glowing endorsement from Sal on an energy drink.
Not bad. Yeah, well, I don't like them. I find them like scary, and I dug it. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I drank it during New York Comic Con. I'm like, I didn't have the jitters. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I legitimately enjoyed it. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's a good product. I really do like it. That's why they're our primary sponsor in the podcast network here. But like I said, if you don't want to do that as your way to support us, you can also subscribe here at Twitch, or you can go to either Patreon. But Sal, let's go ahead and talk about today's topics.
Let's get into it, man.
Yep. So I'm going to pull up our list here that now I can't find because we opened up like 5 other windows.
I know. It starts with DCeased, if you want to talk about DCeased.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about our favorite comic books. For me, I wanted to talk about DCeased and the direction it's going, and maybe talk a little bit about Batman, see what Sal thinks about that, and then whatever comics Sal wants to bring up. I know you probably want to talk about House of X, Powers of X conclusion.
Yeah. Pox will be out by the time this episode's out. It's not out yet. So
but
just
House
Hawks
of X is.
Yeah, Hawks is out. Pox, not yet. But they'll be reading Pox.
And then we'll be talking about... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say quite an ending, but we'll get into it.
Then we'll be talking about the new Deathstroke show that was announced.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about Picard because it's Picard. And I'm telling the story of Gary so many times, it's funny. But then we're going to talk about the New York Comic Con news. And for each of them, there's a big thing they both announced. DC Comics has announced the 5th generation of superheroes, which is a new Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Aquaman.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this idea. Even though you're announcing it and I know what you're doing, I don't know if I like this idea.
Yeah, we'll talk about this.
Yeah. Dawn of X is the new direction for Marvel. As far as I could find, that was their biggest announcement, in which they announced the new Wolverine book. And we'll talk about that. And then, of course, we're going to talk about our experience at Valiant, talk about Bloodshot, the new comic. We're going to talk about the new Todd McFarlane toy and what we know about the movie so far. And we're going to do a cutaway for that portion. I'll explain when we get to that how that's going to work. Sorry, live viewers, you won't get to see the cutaway, but everyone else will. All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off. DCeased, you take a point.
It's great, man. Okay, so if you're not familiar with DCeased, it is basically DC zombies, but they're not technically zombies. They're zombies, but the idea is
that, I love the answer to this because they're not zombies, but it officially answers the anti-life equation thing of like, what are they?
yeah, they're anti-life. And so it's transmitted through the internet and through screens. So the idea is if you were looking at a screen during the big wave, you are infected, and then I think you can transfer the infection through blood, so it's like a zombie. And the idea is that the DC universe just basically falls apart. And there's a pocket of people. The last issue had such a massive cliffhanger. We're kind of like, who made it? And then it turns out okay, well, most people did, but this issue in particular, this is the penultimate issue? How many issues is DCeased? Is it 6?
It's 6. The last issue will come out the day before Halloween.
Oh my God! This series just the last issue. We're probably going to talk a little bit about spoilers in this issue, so I don't want to ruin it right before we warn you. But there are some deaths in this most recent issue. Some deaths that were surprising, but not too surprising.
Okay, the one, they're not too surprising. We kind of expected it to ultimately happen, but the way that they happened is the surprising part.
Right.
Tom Taylor is crafting such a beautiful horror novel. I don't know why DC did not realize that this would sell as well as it is and did not think, let's just make it like an ongoing. Because there's very few series that I would just continually buy just because I want to know more about the universe it's set in.
Yeah.
Injustice is one of those. I wanted to see what was going on in this world. One that I would love to know more about, and Scott Snyder said is never going to happen. It's the last night on Earth.
Really?
I would love to know more about that universe. Just what is going on there. Like Green Lantern babies and Speed Force storms. Come on.
I know. You only get 3 issues. It's not enough.
I know, exactly. And then another one that I would say, bad choice going limited, DCeased. He's already done one tie-in for it, and I'm already like, you're proving this could work as a series. Like
the tie-in was excellent, and I hate tie-ins. So like that should tell you all you need to know. I think that there are internal. There has to be, and this is not me saying I talked to Tom Taylor or something. This is just me speculating. There has to have been a conversation where they're like, so we're gonna do more, right? Like we're either gonna do like we're gonna treat it like Marvel Zombies, where it's like DCeased 2, 3, 9. Or they're just going to go, okay, so the miniseries is over, and now we're going to announce the DCeased ongoing series.
Right.
I feel like there's it's money on the table. There's no way they're gonna ignore it because it's so well executed, but it has such great story potential, and there's great like alternate continuity story. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen to Constantine or Big Barda? You get those answers. Blue and Gold. What's gonna go on with that? There's a huge thing with that. A lot of stuff going on with DCeased that like there just isn't a lot of room for within the main series that you could definitely explore in the future.
Well, one thing that I do wish they hadn't killed off the big 2 already, because like as much as I want to see all the extra stuff going on, if it turned into an ongoing, I would love for a slow burn to get to that kind of a deal. Because Injustice was great because it was cool to see what Superman and Batman are doing, but when Injustice 2 proved, we didn't even need Superman in that equation. We got to learn so much about the universe in Injustice 2 that's what I was excited about, you know? And characters you never, ever thought you would care about, like Plastic Man, become my favorite Injustice 2 character. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah. No, Injustice was I was almost convinced it was a fluke because I was like, a video game tie-in comic, please. And like everyone, I was cynically like making fun of that book when it first came out, but like, man, was I wrong about that. That book went nuts, and I think it has everything to do with its author, who was like, I'm gonna treat it cool. Like I'm gonna go real with this.
So anyway, Injustice 2 was Injustice 2. I agree with you on that. When it first came out, I'm like, this is going to be the stupidest thing ever. Video game tie-in comic books. Well, I am the biggest person to say they are amazing now. Like Life is Strange, Assassin's Creed, like 9 times out of 10, video game comic books are actually really good now. At the time of Injustice 1 dropping, it was still like, no, they're not. They're garbage.
It was just a cash grab. Yeah.
It was a cash grab. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So I am excited for DCeased because of just the possibilities that Tom Taylor has been given his own universe. He's not restricted by the video games anymore. But sadly, we've already lost a lot of the big names in DC.
Yeah. Well, that's great because you knew that was going in because of what happened within the first 2 issues. You knew when they took Batman off the table, they were like, you're like, oh, okay, no one's safe. The hero is going to come from an unlikely place. I think I know who the heroes of the story are going to be, and I think we can all kind of feel like Super Sons. I think it's what?
I think they're going to kill everyone.
You think they're going to kill everyone? I don't think they're going to kill everyone because I think that maybe Taylor wanted to kill everybody, but by now they're like, no, we got to keep the story going. I would love it. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Here's my theory to keep the story going, but make this worth it. Do it like they did Marvel Zombies. The original Marvel Zombie story is set in a different universe, and then the virus continues.
Right.
And what we could do is this universe ends, but something happens in the multiverse thanks to Constantine and all that crap that carries it over to another universe. So it's almost like how he did Earth 2. Earth 2's Volume 1 was everyone dying. Earth 2 moving on was how do we recover from that? Right. And you could easily, due to the fact that we've gotten so big into the multiverse at this point, move this over. Like, this is how this universe died. Now, the DCeased ongoing is on Earth 4.
I think that's exactly where they're going to go with it. But I think you are going to get survivors. I think the survivors are going to be John and Damien. I think it's going to be Super Sons. They're the heroes, and it's going to be like the only ones who make it. And so and they'll grow up, and like so if and when they eventually inevitably end up in the real universe, like in our universe, they'll be adults.
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't work at DC, but you give Tom Taylor the rights to kill everyone, and then we just carry the virus on. And maybe you're right. Maybe the Super Sons are the ones going between the universes trying to prevent this from spreading further.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like, that's speculation, but all I know is I dig it, and I'm excited for it. It's cool. Yeah. It's great.
I do like the cliffhanger. This last cliffhanger is pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But if you didn't know what happened, basically Martian Manhunter shrunk or turned into something or invisible, infected everyone that he could before they stopped him. Flash got infected, ran off infecting everyone that he could touch on the planet. Superman took off to stop him, and they were like, you can't catch him. And he's like, I just have to go the other way and meet him. And it was like the bones on his fingers that like from Flash injured Superman, right? Yeah. So it's interesting. And the Superman just didn't leave fast enough. And Lois is giving the narration, and she's like, maybe if he hadn't said goodbye to us, he could have gotten far enough away. But basically he got into space and then infected, and you're done.
Yeah, that last page look is amazing. It's just him like blasting heat vision and freaking out. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
Me too.
House of X ending. How was that, Sal?
It ended in a weird place. They were like, no, this is the future of the X-Men. This is where it's going. Like, it's not a alternate life thing. It's not a rug pull. Oh no, this is an alternate thing. No, this is where we're going from here. That's really Professor X. This is really going in this direction. Obviously, Hickman has other twists, turns, and surprises in store. Obviously, the things you're looking at now are not the things you're meant to, see. But it ends with them kind of being like, we are our own nation state now. We have our own government. They execute a couple of laws where they're like, these are the 3 laws of this land. One of them is tossed out there by Nightcrawler, who says basically like, make more mutants. Like, you gotta get down, says Nightcrawler. And so it ends with this like really kind of like weird, creepy, like Matrix, the second one, Orgy sequence where like all the Dazzler basically just goes like, we're gonna have a massive mutant party, and she just starts like blasting music and everyone's dancing, and Wolverine is offering beers to Cyclops and Jean in this kind of like, are they gonna have a 3-way kind of situation? And then Jean gives Emma a beer as if to say like, well, do you want to make it a 4-way? Like, it's really weird, and I felt really uncomfortable reading it because like, I don't know about you, but I don't expect my X-Men to be happy, and they all are. And we're talking about characters that like shouldn't be. Like Wolverine gives a beer to Gorgon from Enemy of the State, and it's like, no. Like there's a lot going on here where you're like, this is uncomfortable and weird, and also like it really felt like that Zion orgy sequence. I'm like, no. So we'll see where it goes, I guess. I don't know.
I never looked. I know it was younger.
Crazy. Like I did not expect this ending, and it's not an ending. It's the beginning of the next era of X-Men. But everyone was talking about that orgy sequence, and I'm like, is it an orgy though? Because there's a scene where like Havoc like hugs Cyclops, and they're like, oh man. I'm like, they're brothers, you creeps.
That's a fanfic I'm not reading.
I'm not.
That's one thing.
Yeah, no.
That's actually something I never really thought about, because when I saw the Matrix orgy scene, I was too young to grasp that it was going to be an orgy. Like,
no, just like they're just so happy. They're celebrating life.
So happy.
Well, and that's it. I think you're absolutely supposed to superficially go like, look at them all. There's just celebrating life. But like, no, the scene where Wolverine is hugging them, and then like Jean looks over at Emma, and Emma's like, hey. You're like, oh my God, are they all gonna get together? Is this happening?
Now I really want to read issue 6 and none of the others. That way I'll have no context, and I'll just be like, X-Men Orgy, what?
I think that's it. Dude, that's the title of your next video.
X-Men Orgy. Welcome, everyone, to our Zion Orgy.
2 million views.
Okay.
But yeah, Pox, crazy. But of course, the thing is, by the time this episode airs, I'm sure Pox will be out, but Pox isn't out yet, and of course there are 2 series that are one, Powers of X could literally pull the rug out from under everything and be like, nope. So
we'll find out, and then we'll have to have a follow-up next week where you discuss what happened on Pox.
Oh no, we'll see. But it's cool.
I can just see next week. The orgy was the whole issue of Pox. It was
Pox was just the orgy. we just saw who paired off with who. It was Skin and Jubilee. Oh no.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So that's that.
That happened.
I wanted to talk briefly about Batman because I'm a Batman fan.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to where this is going to go. I feel like
you said Batman. I'm like, just Batman? Just like, oh, there's this
Tom
character.
King's Batman.
Oh, well.
First off, Flashpoint Batman, there's a huge debate happening on Twitter right now about whether this is out of character for Flashpoint Batman to be the way he's being right now. I don't think so. Everyone's like, Flashpoint Batman's my favorite. Okay, he tortured people. He lost his wife and child. He shot people. He stabbed Reverse Flash to save Bruce. He did he's the ultimate, he's like the penultimate badass Batman.
Yeah.
But he's not a good person.
No, he's like a broken person. He's only doing this out of grief for the death of his son. His wife is a joker.
Yes.
No, he's not happy.
There's a whole segment of Tom King's run where he's trying to bring his wife to the Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
He's not mentally sane, guys.
Right.
So I disagree with the argument that Tom King is ruining Flashpoint Batman. I think Tom King is further exploring Flashpoint Batman, in my opinion. But what I dislike is I have been waiting now 80 issues to get to this big finale, multiple issue battle with Bane taking over the city. He's going to take it all back and he's going to prove everything and it's going to be epic. But I almost feel like he's out of issues and he wasted time with the fluff.
Totally. No.
Because in one issue, Catwoman and Batman took back Gotham.
Yeah. No. No. I mean, listen, if one character could do it, Superman would. But the other guy, Batman. And let me I don't know. I mean, the fact is, if he had given his 100 issues like he planned, maybe it would have taken more issues. But the fact is, it's amazing how, he got because King's run was cut short of his 100 issues. The only thing you get to keep is the fluff. You don't get to drag out the stuff you actually want to see dragged out. Instead, you're going to get at least one volume that's just a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
I feel like we're seeing the ramifications of this cut short run now, and the people who have been on board with Tom King's Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, and I had a great discussion with somebody at Comic-Con about it, that Tom King's Batman is great. It's not a mainline Batman book. I think this would have been great as a detective book.
Oh, totally.
Because it would have been perfect. You would have been like, oh, we're doing an exploration of Batman, a deconstruction of Batman. The main Batman book needed to be 6-issue movies, basically. Just breaking down into a basic plot of Batman being Batman, while Detective could have been the exploration of Batman. And I feel like DC realized that too late, hence the cut run short. But I stand by my statement I made when we learned that it got cut short. At this point, let it finish. Because now we're going to get a half-assed conclusion.
Well, you're going to
Because he doesn't have an option.
Well, isn't he getting he's getting a Batman Catwoman series that's basically going to be the missing 16 issues or whatever.
Well, yeah, but that's down to 12.
Right. Well, that's fine. King works best in a 12-issue grid anyway.
I agree, but we're still missing issues from the overall run that he was intending to do.
If he's already planning for the 12, maybe since he's only missing 4, he can actually make more than 1 issue's worth of stuff happen in 2 issues. You know what I mean? You wanted to see Batman and Catwoman take back Gotham in a longer series, but did you need Batman and Catwoman kicking it in the French Riviera for 4 issues?
Dude, I stand by my statement. Those 2 issues could have been condensed down into 2 pages we kept going back. He likes to stretch it out so much, and his writing is beautiful, and the artwork is beautiful, and it matches up. But you got cut. man. Why is that 2 issues of the cut?
Yeah, no, exactly. You got cut, but you kept this stuff? Like, so maybe with the 12, he's actually fitting in like 30 issues. Like, we don't know.
Those 12 issues, it's just they go back to the beach and have a discussion about what the Bat and the Cat are.
I would not be surprised at all if the 12-issue run was just the beach.
So I just wanted to give a quick opinion as to what's happening. I don't know what's happening with that. I don't know. You want to move on to the next topic? There's not much more to say.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not reading it really. Like, I'm reading it sporadically, but every time I drop in, I'm like, oh. Then I drop back out.
Okay.
When it comes to
all right, well, let's move to 2 of the bigger trailers, in my opinion, that got announced that I think more pertain to the 2 of us. Because you are a Trekkie, right?
I am I'm a TNG fan, and I like the original.
Okay, so this works. This is a great discussion for you then, so that works.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Okay. First up, I wanted to talk. There's not much on this, but there's something I wanted to mention about it. The CW Seed dropped a trailer for their new Deathstroke cartoon, filled with blood, violence, and like, what happened here? Because it's what I find funny about this is I think it was last week or the week before. I literally said CW's not for you if you're a hardcore comic fan. It's for dramas and teen dramas, and like it's CW is like their slogan is Dare to Defy, and it's all about like the LGBTQ community, which is fine. Just be aware. That's what you're getting into, and that's perfectly fine. And then like they follow up and be like, no. We didn't forget about you hardcore comic fans that want Deathstroke killing people.
Right. Here's just here's a Deathstroke series where he cuts off heads.
I know.
Like, okay. I mean, and like, that's it. I was like, I saw the trailer and I'm like, wait, what? Like, was this like in storage? Did you plan on making this? Like, is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. And it reminds me, I guess, of those other like animated shorts that were technically part of the CW universe that they made. Like
Constantine and Vixen, and both of those are great.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're going to get more of that with Deathstroke, which is actually great because not only will they call him Deathstroke finally, and he also gets to be more Deathstrokey. They'll be the most Deathstroke you get.
I know.
Gotten ever.
The only complaint I have so far is the trailer scene they decided to use. He pretty much Naruto battles, where like they start shooting at him, and he like. After images to the left, which is the exact thing you always see when you see anime ninja, ricochets all the bullets. After images back and then attacks. I'm like, how much anime did the cartoonist watch? Like,
I think it's all going to be that. I think it's just going to be stuff like that. It's just going to be all the fight scenes and blood you couldn't get in anything else you could watch on CW. Here it is in like this short animated series. I'm in. I guess hilarious. That's cool. But yeah,
I mean, because I don't want to talk about Batwoman because I haven't really watched much of it, but I've watched the first half, and they're really going in on Kane's origin, where she was in the military. She got a girlfriend, they kicked her out for it, stuff like that. And I'm watching that, like, yep, this is CW. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this because this is exciting to like the way they're portraying it and everything like that. I'm on board. But like I'm like, that's CW. That's the Dare to Defy message. And then like I watched the trailer and I'm like, that's classic comics. What?
Yeah, okay. I mean, the fact is, with an audience as big as the CW Arrowverse watching audience, statistically speaking, some of them are gonna want to see classic Deathstroke. So here you go. Like, might as well.
I'm excited.
We might as well keep them as opposed to alienate them by never giving them anything they want. So here it is.
Okay, I know I fell off Arrow, and I don't know if you have the answer to this. Do you have Did you watch any Arrow? Do you might know the answer?
I've seen the first 2 episodes of Arrow.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say I don't know what happened to Deathstroke. Dan, do me a favor because you're our voice in the sky. Let me know what happened to Slade Wilson in Arrowverse, because if he's alive, then this might be a sequel. If he's dead, this might be a prequel. I just don't know where they left him off.
Just give us the short version.
From what I understand, they brought him back for a brief period during one of the seasons that I skipped over when I was trying to play catch up. So
yeah, I'm seeing in the chat that they say he's in prison, so this could be actually in universe for Slade.
I'm excited. I mean, so far CW is all. Bear in mind, I've seen half of an episode of Batwoman and a trailer for Deathstroke, but I'm on board. CW, what do you got for me?
Right? Yeah, I'm just impressed they went with the Batwoman full-on costume. Like, for that, I'm like, right on, you're doing good. Keep it up.
Well, okay, I will give CW credit. They have fixed their costume fiasco in the
I don't know. Have
recent
you
years.
seen the most recent season for Barry's costume? I was like, oh.
He got the chin strap back. Now it looks okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't get it working. I mean, that being said, I guess it kind of beats John Wesley Shipp's costume. It's like he's made of felt.
What I find to be the funniest thing about this whole costume debate, real quick, okay? Like, Batwoman looks great. Supergirl looks great. It's one of the costumes. You know, personally, I would have preferred the New 52 costume, but hey, you want to give her the skirt because, you know, you got a young actress on screen and you don't want to have any weird, slips.
She's getting new pants now. She's getting pants now.
I love the outrage on the pants. I'm like, really? You're upset because she's getting pants? Like, it exists, guys. It's in comics. Calm down.
Yeah, at least one.
Stop being upset that women are getting pants. Like,
right? I mean, it could be worse. She could be wearing a headband.
I know. You could go full 80s, but I find that to be the funniest thing ever. The amount of outrage over the pants. And I looked at it, I'm like, that looks good. It looks fine.
Yeah.
But everyone freaking out about the pants. I'm like, one of two things. One, you either don't know all the variations of Supergirl's costume, and pants is one of those. It's fine. Normally, every future iteration has pants. Like, she doesn't do the skirt or the bikini bottom. And I'm like, two, the only other argument is you don't want women wearing pants. I don't... What century are you in, my friend? So anyway, but like the CW is funny because this is... I'm going to caveat this by stating I am excited for Birds of Prey, but... Why is it on DC Universe the costumes look comic accurate and CW gets close? I'd say most of the time it's like 80% accurate, maybe 70. And then you go to Birds of Prey and it's like 1970s clothing.
Dude, I don't know. The Birds of Prey thing was, it feels like, because like DC in the movies is really, it's figuring itself out. And one of the things they definitely, I don't think, are gonna do anymore is try to make it all fit perfectly. But with
I agree with. But we just had Aquaman look perfect.
I know. And, well, you had Aquaman. Wonder Woman's nailed first try out of the gate. And with Harley, you even got the Alex Ross sequence in Suicide Squad. I don't really like Suicide Squad, but if you're gonna argue one thing or another, like Harley Quinn's had an assortment of costumes, you're gonna go with the most marketable one. It's harder to make the onesie work. It looks better drawn than it does in person anyway, unless you're dealing with like a world-class cosplayer. That being said, within the framework of Birds of Prey, like Harley is like, it's Margot Robbie, so like she can wear whatever and it doesn't really matter. But like the movie's called Birds of Prey and there aren't any. And when I say there aren't any, I mean wearing like no one resembles
they got like
any of their counterparts at all. Yeah.
And what? I don't mind the actors change because that got a lot of flack. I'm just wondering about the costume decision. Like
it's
at
weird.
to no point put like, because Huntress, she's very Bat family. If you were going to alter any of them, I could say that one. But like Black Canary's just a jacket and like black spandex. Like we're not talking she's got like a full-blown outfit you got to worry about.
No, Black Canary just has to look like a biker.
Yes, like, that's it. And
just give her a cool, maybe fishnets if the actress is cool with it, but otherwise biker. That's it.
The fishnets would be the only thing. Our reaction from Dan is what?
No, that's Black Canary.
Oh, hold on.
So I looked into the Slade Wilson Deathstroke, what currently happened to him. I don't fully know where he ended up, but the last thing that I could find was that he was confronting, I believe, his son Joey, and then was learnt about his other son Grant, and then Oliver decides not to kill him. And that's kind of the last thing that I could officially find about the whole situation.
All right.
Our chat said that he was in prison, so that's probably where he's ended up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited for the Birds of Prey. I'm just curious as to why we got the costumes accurate for so many things prior to this. Run by WB, run by DC, but now we don't.
Right. Like, well, I mean, look at Doom Patrol. I'm like, you got Robot Man right. I don't understand why Cassandra Cain looks like that. I don't know.
They made a Hawk and Dove look like Hawk and Dove. Of all
That's
people,
outrageous.
Of all people that they could have changed it, and I would have been like, it makes sense. Hawk and Dove's costumes kind of intricate, you know. They made accurate Hawk and Dove costumes.
I know, and they don't look stupid. Like they look pretty cool. Like the whole thing looks pretty cool. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Birds of Prey is its own thing. Like I don't think anything coming from DC post Birds of Prey is gonna look like that. I think it's just that Margot Robbie's production company, in tandem with Warner Brothers, is like, I wanted to make a Harley sequel spinoff from her debut from Suicide Squad.
Right.
So it's like, it has to thematically look like that. So I think that's going to be the last time you see anything that looks like the DCEU proper. I think that's kind of it. It's just a holdover. I feel like they were also probably afraid to say no. You know, like Margot Robbie wants to make a Harley Quinn movie. She helps finance it. She makes it happen. They're not gonna be like, Black Canary looks weird, and I disagree.
Could you? I'm just picturing that meeting. Just Sal. Excuse me.
Yeah, Margot, we're loving everything. You know, you're even really pushing the Harley Quinn voice, and you did the hyena thing. It was awesome. I know Black Mask clearly is not going to wear a mask in this movie, but whatever. That aside, the Birds of Prey, you know, the movie, the book they're all named after, none of them look anything like them. And they're not wearing any kind of costume that resembles it at all. And one of the things that we're kind of known for in the media is that at least we get the costumes right.
Right. I mean, for the record, once again, this is not a stab at the movie. I'm excited about the movie and what I've seen about it and stuff like that. It's just, I just felt that was a weird decision. That's all.
I don't think it was a decision. I think it was just like, it's just easier if we just don't do that.
If we don't do that.
I think it's literally just like,
maybe the budget was too low. Maybe they wanted to use the budget on other things and it was just easier to be like, get her a lounge singer outfit. You know, that could have been it.
That makes perfect sense to me. They got to pay for the movie, Margot Robbie, and to get Ewan McGregor to say yes to this.
I wonder if most of the budget went to Ian McGregor and Margot Robbie.
I think, yeah. I mean, and good, because that's why I'm seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
I agree.
I saw McGregor doing his thing, and I'm like, all right, you look pretty fun. I think you're going to be a cool villain. I'm in.
Right. Let's move on to the next thing. We'll keep this one kind of short because we are going to be running a little bit over time right now, and I got people that have to get out of here on a certain time. So, Picard trailer. Let's have our Trekkie moment. Okay, I'm a full Trekkie. You're a TNG Trekkie.
I am.
And this looks incredible. My favorite line right now, Gary, come here. I'll let you say your line real quick on the podcast. Okay. Or I say it for you, in which case I get it wrong. This is what Gary said when he saw what Picard is about.
So Andy and I were talking, and I basically said, so the whole thing just looks like Picard in Firefly. Oh, wait, no, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels.
Gary's realization, he's like, I don't want to see this. It looks like Picard and Firefly. Oh, no, that does sound good.
Right. Yeah, I love Picard, and I want to get excited about this show. I don't want to see a show about a chosen one or a Borg anything. One of the things, I love Firefly. I'm an unabashed browncoat. And one of my least favorite things about Firefly is River. And it feels like that's
the chosen one who is genetically enhanced and
right, who can do anything, and she's a little crazy though, so she's quirky and fun, but also maybe a danger. No, I have no patience for that kind of crap. I just wanted to watch my plucky heroes go on train jobs and stuff. And with Picard, I just want to see him be a diplomat. I want to see him negotiate with Shellyax more than I want to see him punch a guy or stab someone with a spear or or be sad that Data's dead. I don't know. I'm liking the idea, and I appreciate that they're pushing it. And I think it's absolutely, at least it's in the real timeline. I'm just kind of
because we got 7 of 9. We're gonna find out what happened to the entire cast. 7 of 9, dude. As young Benny, she was my favorite Voyager character.
I'm shocked. She was made for you. That's why she's on the show. She's the worst one. to get because she represents the worst parts of like post Roddenberry Trek, which is which is just not even fan service. Fan service would be like tribbles and stuff, which you still get. This is like, I don't know, exploitative. I don't know. Listen, Jerry Ryan is cool. She's a fun actress. I loved her in that like Mortal Kombat YouTube short they made of where she played Sonya that one time. But like, I don't know. I'm hyped, but like obviously I'm not going to get a CBS All Access membership.
You could use mine for the sake of this.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will use it to the nth degree, my friend, because that is basically the Star Trek network. Did you see they're also watching like an animated Star Trek show?
Well, I'm actually using it to watch The Twilight Zone.
Right, which we watched every available episode of the last time I was there.
Yeah, we did. You and I watched all of it. We could. It gets so much better. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I will say, I don't know why I thought this, because watching the trailer, I'm like, I don't know where I heard this. I thought this was a prequel to Picard. So I had like zero interest in it until I saw that trailer, and I'm like, wait. We're doing old man Picard going out into space again? I'm on board.
Yeah. I mean, like, there is a part of me, a very nerdy part of me that like is really excited to see Picard do stuff again. I'm just like, I want him to be like my Picard, who like doesn't need to punch somebody to destroy them. He just needs to quote their dad. Like, that's what I want. But I know I'm not going to get it. I'll never get that. They're never going to do that. Like, I'm never going to see a quiet moment between friends who are, except for that sequence that they showed in the trailer where it's like Picard and Riker. And you're like, oh, yay! Man, Frakes is okay. Like, he sounds great. He's put on some weight, but whatever, you know.
I mean, he's an old man now. I don't know. I think for me, without knowing really what Picard is about,
right?
I think the reason I thought it was a prequel is because the last times we've seen Patrick Stewart, he was in a wheelchair and then being carried around by Hugh Jackman. So my assumption was he was very much like Betty White at this point, where he just pops up, but we don't move him. Like, he just sits.
Yeah. No, I think he's in really good shape. It's just that he wanted to play it like
he's the star.
He's acting. Like, he looked like a cripple because he wasn't one. Like,
he's really good at acting. I thought he was a cripple.
Yeah, he's really good at it. I don't know. It seems cool. But I'm excited.
All right, so moving on to our next topic here. The big New York Comic Con announcement that I could find. From looks of things overall, there was no giant DC or Marvel announcements that came out of this whole thing. Yeah. I am shocked too because, I know it's not San Diego, but New York normally still has its own plethora of other announcements that come out of it. Totally. But the big one is, and a lot of this is based in rumors.
Yes.
Okay? So they announced, we already know about the new Batman coming out, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But they announced that, I guess, John is going to take over as Superman. He's going to the future with the Legion, and he's coming back aged up again.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the new Superman, which has now led to, I guess there was discussion about the 5th generation of DC, which is what they're going to do. Instead of having a crisis and resetting, we're actually going to age our heroes for the first time ever to give us official replacements.
Yeah.
I want this, and I don't at the same time.
Yeah. This is...
I've always said that I wanted this. I've always said I want them to age. I want Batman to get old, and we move into Batman Beyond. And I want Superman to become Kingdom Come, and we move into Superboy. I've always wanted that. But now that there's a chance, because bear in mind, a lot of this is like Bleeding Cool rumors and CBR rumors.
It's true.
But now that there's even a chance that we're actually going to try it, I don't know if I want it.
Well, I don't blame you, and I think your trepidation is just like, this is the worst group to make happen. Like, I don't trust the current guard to do this with any finesse. And and this 5G concept sounds so, I don't know, it sounds like fan
I thought they were making phones.
I know, right? Yeah, 5G. Oh, we're getting an upgrade. Which I think they want you to think. I think they want you to think it's an upgrade. And it's like... What a great concept. It's totally not going to feel really weird and aged in 2 years.
Well, it's happening in 2021. So when this drops, the 5G logo is already going to feel it's worse than you like. I know what you just said, but it's even worse when you actually look at when this is all launching.
Well, and it feels really phony. Like, it feels like you know, you're doing this stuff with Tom King, and you're giving Tynan a Batman after that. You know, you did this thing with John, and then you gave it to Bendis, and Bendis is doing his own thing with Superman, and like I don't know what's going on with Wonder Woman except for the magic stuff, and like you know Snyder and the Justice League and the wars and everything like that. Like you got so much happening with DC right now that it feels like the absolute worst time for a time jump and to replace everybody.
It's not a time jump.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, but you have to age up John, and you got to
So John's going to age up because of the Legion of Superheroes. So he's going to have a plot as to how that happens.
Yeah.
Batman is apparently going to go missing for some reason. They've alluded to it being very much Batman Beyond, where everyone thinks that Batman is dead, but the readers know he's here and he's helping the new Batman.
So it's exactly like when Forever Evil, Dick Grayson died, and Batman made Dick go undercover.
Yeah, well, that, and it's also it's basically Nightfall again, Azrael.
Oh boy.
I couldn't find full confirmation on the new Batman, but it looks like I don't know if this is based on a rumor or not, and I tried to get
too.
That it's going to be Luke Fox again. He's coming back. Because they're going to do a black Batman for the first time ever, an official black Batman, but they said it's not Duke. Which I find to be a weird choice. Like,
yeah. Well, it feels like a weird choice because, like, you know, Scott took a lot of time to try and make Duke happen.
Yeah, and he did, and he made him not a Robin.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to do that, at least use the one that was created specifically for no good purpose. Like, he's not doing anything. He's not there for any reason. You might as well make him Batman. Why not? But nah, I guess the reason we need to make him Luke Fox is because he needs to be smart. And like Duke is of average intelligence. So it's like, you know.
I guess. But I feel like Duke would have made more sense because Duke is currently still wrapped into the overall Gotham plot. As far as I know, his parents are still infected with the Joker toxin.
Oh my God. Is he still?
Like, that's how they left him. Unless I missed something, he never got resolution to that. It was like, my parents are just going to be completely evil now, and they're locked up.
They got to put that into they got to make that like a backup in Detective and just fix that. Because it's just sad at this point. I just feel bad for the man. It feels really phony, and it feels like, gee whiz, like, so wait, but well, okay, so and you have a list of other people. It's not just Batman and Superman that are going to be replaced. Other characters are going to be replaced too with this 5G.
Right. Well, they haven't said what. So they said Green Lantern, and the obvious assumption is that it was going to be Teen Lantern. That's the current rumor.
Why wouldn't it be?
I love Green Lantern. Teen Lantern is dumb. Look, Bendis, I'm on board with the Superman stuff right now, but you made a teenage girl that can hack a Green Lantern.
That is
I am
clearly
all
from
for
a person who has never read a Green Lantern book in their lives.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I know what he's doing because they did the same thing with the Riri, and he said why he's doing it. He has an African-American daughter that he adopted. He wants her to have a superhero that she can look up to. Most likely Green Lantern's her favorite, so he made Teen Lantern.
I know why he did it, and it's because like, here's the thing. I don't get royalties from another Green Lantern. I get royalties from my Green Lantern. I get royalties from my Iron Man. I get royalties from my Maria Hill. I get royalties from my character. So, like, maybe the reason why they didn't go with Duke is because they'd have to pay Scott Snyder royalties, and they're like, we'll just use one of our other guys. Like, who knows? But yeah, Teen Lantern, Green Lantern. I don't. It feels like an afterthought. It feels like a weird, like, oh great, oh who else can we replace? Like, what else we got? Do we have a new Aquaman we can replace? Like, do we got a young Aquaman?
Well, I just don't understand. According to one of our chatters because we are doing this live, guys, asking if we read the origins, maybe they've revealed more to it. The origin Dan, do you have an actual origin for Teen Lantern now?
Yes. So in the Young Justice that just came out this past week, they go more into the Teen Lantern. They explain kind of how she gets it, why she thinks it's a Green Lantern, and allude to some really sketchy stuff behind the scenes as to why it might not be.
Okay.
Honestly, when I saw it, it looked more like Krona's Gauntlet kind of situation. But the current story that's going on in Young Justice right now, does seem to be like it's going to explain why it's not truly a Green Lantern and kind of more behind the character itself.
Okay, because last I had read, I think I got to like issue 4 or 5 when they finally like explained Teen Lantern. She was like, I got a lantern and I hacked it. And my reaction to that was just going to be, if this sounds much better as an origin, because what I was going to say is Green Lantern, it's so easy to make a Green Lantern. Like, why did you have to make it a hacking? But this sounds much better, so, I'll retract that statement.
Yeah.
Green Lanterns are the easiest things to make. We did it with Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. Oh, look, conveniently, there's another ring on Earth.
There are more representatives in the Green Lantern Corps from Earth than any other planet in the solar system. Like, just add another layer. Or hey, you know what? You're not using anyone, like, just kill one of them and have her get the ring, like, whatever, I don't know, have Toma Ray die or something and replace him.
All you should have to do is simply be like, Guy Gardner, who has not shown up in a while, is missing and his ring shows up. Oh, boom, we got a plot.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
Guy Gardner got sucked into the Phantom Zone again or something, whatever.
Again.
So there you go.
So, okay,
whatever.
but that if it's tied into the Chrono Gauntlet and stuff like that, that could be really cool, because if I remember Green Lantern lore, that was kind of left just hanging after we were done with it. Like, oh, we got this Chrono Gauntlet, we're going to use it for an issue or two, and then it's just kind of, let's put it back.
Well, let's just leave it in Hal's apartment or something, I don't know.
Yeah. So, either way, Aquaman, there's no ideas. Everyone's like, oh, it can't be Garth. It could be Garth? I think if anything, they'll try Jackson Hyde again.
Okay.
Yeah. The new Wonder Woman, probably going to be Wonder Girl. I mean, we've been hyping, or it'll be Donna, because we're getting her out of the TV show. So I can see Donna kind of taking that role.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, might I suggest...
We have like 8 different Flashes that could take the role, so I'm not even worried about that.
might I suggest, by the way, what if Naomi became Wonder Woman?
Oh, yeah. She popped up in Action, and I didn't read it. I started reading it, and like, she pops up, and Superman's like, who are you? And she's like, let me explain. And I'm like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. By the way, Naomi might have been one of the best looking books from DC.
Oh, it looks amazing. And the original couple issues are pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to get a couple of trades in, because I feel like Bendis is treating Naomi like he treated Ultimate Spider-Man, where you're in there for the long ride. You're not in there for the short ride. If you try to jump visually into Ultimate Spider-Man, a lot of people don't realize this, because we all look at Ultimate Spider-Man fondly, but he didn't get interesting until like issue 30. Like, nothing.
I found him
happened.
interesting immediately, but if you're talking about...
No, you did not. You did not find him interesting. You were like, this could be fun, and you stuck it out like I did, but there was nothing overly interesting about it until, like, I forget what the first major arc was, but until we got into an actual Spider-Man arc.
Are you talking about Miles?
No, standard Ultimate, because it kicked off.
Oh no, I was hooked issue 2. I was hooked on Ultimate Spider-Man.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. I was captivated by the writing and the art. I loved it, and I still, to this day, it's one of the best Spider-Man
I don't
runs
have Dan.
of all time.
Dan had to go, so I'm going to look it up real quick. Power and Responsibility was the original.
Yep.
Then it was Learning Curve.
Yep.
Then it was Double Trouble. Okay.
Yep.
And none of this was overly interesting.
No, I loved it because it was all just. It was all
It was
character
22
work.
that he started to get wrapped up into the Norman and all that other stuff.
By Learning Curve, you had Kingpin, and that Kingpin best on, it's the best Kingpin. Like, it's great. That was
I felt like, in my opinion, and this is entirely my opinion, Ultimate Spider-Man, until it got to 22, was just almost a rehash of everything we'd already seen with a new, fresh take on it, which wasn't terrible, but I wasn't entirely hooked on it at that point.
Right.
I felt by the time we got to Legacy with Norman Osborn, he had invented enough of his own lore and his own backstory that it went in a direction that was new and fresh and not just a updated version of what we knew.
I mean, he definitely did both of those things. I was just so captivated by the writing and the characters that I didn't care. Like, he reveals his identity to Mary Jane within the first, 3-4 issues.
Yeah.
And...
Well, like I said, I felt up till there it was just kind of a rehash, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
I was so hooked, which is probably why I like Naomi so much. I was like, this is pretty cool. Bendis feels so weird in the DC universe.
He does.
He clearly doesn't know it as well, and that's saying a lot because he didn't really know much about the Marvel universe either. So it's like really weird to see him like playing around in this, like, you know, where he's like dropping references to like the Thanagarians, like he knows what that is. I don't know. I'm just like, all right, whatever, Bendis, keep it up.
All right, well,
but 5G, it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have enough to really talk about. I'm hopeful that it could be good. I'm hopeful it's what I've always wanted to happen in the DC universe because I've always said the biggest problem with Damian is they never let him age. And since they never let him age, he learns the same lesson about every 2 years.
That's true. That's true. Well, hey, and we forgot to mention also that like tied in with this is at New York Comic Con they dropped the timeline. Like they're like, there are 5 generations of DC, and here's the new revamped, explained timeline chronology of the DC universe. And they were like, maybe we should probably talk about this. And I'm like,
oh,
right on.
I never saw this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they dropped this timeline on our laps, and I'm like, first of all, the current guard at DC is not the guard to be making the timeline when they clearly have like issues with characters to the point where they're like trying to just change their names to ones that sound like them. But like within the retcon, I think the plan is they're like Wonder Woman is now going to be the first superhero.
Yeah, I did see that, and I think that's to tie it more into what they've turned the DCEU into, where she is the first one in that universe by being around in World War II, and then they're going to make her outlive a lot of this stuff. I can't get a good high-res image of this. That's the only problem.
Me either. It's really frustrating because I'd like to see what they have planned. I saw a couple of transcriptions, and they reference stuff that's pre-New 52, so we'll see. I don't know. I don't trust them. At this point, like, fool me once, shame on you. So, like, I can't possibly get into 5G or this new timeline without a severe amount of skepticism.
I know, and that's the big problem. But I mean, we do got to move on to the next topic because we're just gonna start harping. It's not much to say. Marvel didn't put out too much like hardcore information, but they did announce Dawn of X and the new Wolverine.
Yeah,
which is what the fact that
they
didn't put out anything.
No, I'm actually amazed, and I'm kind of like happy about it because it means that Marvel might be actually restraining themselves a little bit, which is really nice to see. It was
funny because we were there, and the biggest thing that they did at their panel was Contest of Champions. They kept doing championships.
Yeah, which whatever
to hype up the new game, Realm of Champions. But like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. It was a weird decision to use your New York Comic Con presence for that.
I agree. I will say, the thing you got out of the Wolverine book, I got 2 things out of that. One, Hot Claws still here.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah? I don't care about Hot Claws. I would have assumed because of what Hickman had done that the Hot Claws are gone. That's done. But no, Hot Claws. Because
now
he's
he
dead.
Can toast your bread as he cuts it.
Or cauterize limbs or whatever. I don't know. It's... Hot Claws. It feels like he's a pod person now. There shouldn't have to be Hot Claws. What? How does he even have adamantium? Anyway, the more important thing for me is that Victor Bogdanovic is drawing it, and I'm friends with him, so I'm really happy to see that Vic's getting some work. Good for you, Vic.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's it. But otherwise, like, you know, Dawn of X, it's just more, you know, like, it's just obviously Hickman was. It's not like Hickman was going to tell 12 issues and then stop. You know,
right.
Like, so here's chapter 2 of 25. You know,
another thing that I just make a quick note of this. They announced a bunch of new writers and a bunch of new books, but one that I thought was funny was Donny Cates on Thor. To which my first reaction is, "Where's Jason Aaron going?" And my second reaction is, do they have more than one writer over there anymore? Like, I feel like everyone's exiting Marvel, and they're just like, "Hey, Donnie, you want another check?"
Yeah, I do. You know I do. And I remember when Marvel was had just hired Bendis on, or he had been there for like a year or so, but they were a lot more like candid about how things worked. And I remember Bendis saying, like, they don't pay us much. That's why I'm on so many books.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, Cates is like, yeah, if I want to eat and have health insurance, then I'm going to write like 12 books.
Yeah. I mean,
and
that's why they did.
Like, well, and he's like, and I haven't diminished my brand. Like, Donny Cates' books are still good. So it's not like they're hurting him. That Silver Surfer book is amazing. And
I was like, he's on Silver Surfer. I'm trying to think of like his continuals.
Right.
Silver Surfer, Venom. He's now on Thor. Guardians.
Yep.
And Guardians is great. He took Guardians back to like classic Guardians. Like he's just like, let's ignore all the stuff Bendis did about the movie. We're gonna go back to the classic Guardians, and we're just gonna make them real badass.
Right. Well, and
he created a cosmic Ghost Rider that shows up everywhere now.
Oh, don't forget Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like that's a huge addition. And of course, his miniseries, he killed the Inhumans. He's got the Absolute Carnage going on. You think that's not going to spin out into a Carnage book? I mean, come on. Like, there's so much that he is influencing on Marvel. Thankfully, he's not a hack. He also wrote Doctor Strange for a while. Like, he's been around. He's been working at Marvel, and there's no signs of him stopping. Good thing.
I'm pretty sure he has an
Country.
indie book out there right now too, because I saw him at the Image booth. So either he was hanging out, or he's got a book it's like something country or something.
Well, he wrote God Country.
That's what he was there for, yeah.
So I guess like people are just hyped about that book, which they should be because it's an amazing series. It was. It's over, but but yeah, I'm thrilled. I mean, like, I didn't. The folks here at Comic Pop were not thrilled with Cates' Doctor Strange as much as Aaron's, but maybe he'll do something. I mean, the hope is that he'll do something totally radically different with Thor than Aaron was doing. This Aaron run on Thor has been epic. Like, it's been all like Hickman-esque in terms of it being like this one like 10-year experiment.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, I mean, with King Thor and everything, you've had a lot of lore that he's put in there. Is Cates going to just strike it and start over, or is he going to pick it up and keep going? My assumption is he's probably going to just do something new with it. But if anyone was going to handle a god, I would trust Donny Cates, so I'm in.
Yep. No, I 100% agree with you on that one. All right, so let's end today's episode by talking about Bloodshot. So we actually got to do it's on the list. You knew it was coming. Don't give me that look.
No, I know. I'm the avatar for the audience. I'm like, Bloodshot? Why would you want to talk about that? Well,
for the next couple of weeks, we actually were out there doing a lot of stuff with Valiant. They were generous enough to bring us out to help host the signing, do stuff like that. I have said up and down, like, we work with a lot of companies, but Valiant's been really kind to us. And I wanted to end the next couple of episodes talking about some of our Valiant interviews and talking about some of the stuff that we got to learn while there. Next week, we're going to actually splice in an interview we had with Heather Antos talking about the future in Valiant 2020. But this week, we wanted to talk about Bloodshot #1, our overall reactions to this. Yep. And you don't get to see this live, as we didn't prep it. Next week, maybe we'll prep the other interview. We didn't do it today simply because we're on a tight time constraint because we got the movie to talk about in a minute. But we'll talk like 5-10 minutes about Bloodshot. When the episode gets published elsewhere in all the audios, you'll get to hear an interview that Sal and I got to conduct with Todd McFarlane about Bloodshot. So it'll actually be on this episode, and what we'll probably do is prep it for next week's episode, so you live viewers will get to see it if you don't go watch it elsewhere. So we'll probably do it as part of the pre-show. But either way, Bloodshot #1. What did you think overall of this? By the way, this is the coolest. It's like a chrome metal cover. It's like the coolest thing.
Oh yeah, you got the cover. Yeah, I got that too. We gave it away to an audience member who was really hyped to get it.
I was going to do a giveaway today for it, but it was going for like $300 to $500 at New York Comic Con. So I'm gonna hold on to this.
Yeah, I really wanted to keep it. It's such a gorgeous cover. Yeah, it's a new Bloodshot, and they're treating it kind of like a soft reboot, where it's like you don't need to know anything about Bloodshot to get into it, and they're giving you like a real visually distinctly different version of the same character you're familiar with if you are familiar with him. Brett Booth's art is perfectly suited for Bloodshot because like it's classic '90s. Like Bloodshot is like a definitive '90s character, whether you knew about him in the '90s or not. It's a Terminator. He's an indestructible dude who kills people.
He's Wolverine meets Punisher, and that's what I like about him, because I've openly said I'm not a huge fan of Punisher because it just doesn't make sense in the Marvel Universe. But Bloodshot has powers and abilities. I have been a fan of Bloodshot ever since Valiant came back with the reboot in, like 2012?
Yeah, 2012, yeah.
Yeah, and this actually is a continuation of it. I don't think it was mentioned, but I don't know if it was mentioned in the panel a lot, but they did say we're going to get an explanation as to where the daughter is and Kay and Magic and that whole thing.
Okay.
Oh, it was during the panel that I moderated for them. They talked about that. They was asked what happened to the daughter from Salvation, and they were like, "Yeah, that's going to be answered. We are going to answer that. So don't." So that is going to all be discussed later. So that's fine.
But if you don't know who that is, they're not referenced at all in this first issue. And,
exactly. With
so
the movie rolling
in.
out very soon, which I'm surprised. What was the date on the movie? Because that was public.
Oh, I don't know.
Too.
Oh, I have no idea. I missed
It's early
that.
2020, which to me, I was a little surprised that we still haven't seen a trailer or anything like that on it. But it makes sense why we're getting a fresh Bloodshot issue. That is a good jumping on point.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Oops, sorry. The release date is currently scheduled for February 21st, 2020.
There we go.
No
I knew it
way.
was soon, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Wow.
I mean, overall, I loved this first book. It's written by Tim Seeley. It's got art by Brett Booth. I don't know the full names of the other individuals, and I'm not opening this up because it's worth so much money.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's Tim Seeley writing Bloodshot. It's dope. Like, it's a cool idea. You get action, you get espionage. It's a perfect blend of the character that you either know or you don't know. Either way, if you're looking for like a high octane, like 90s-esque action movie, this is the book.
Oh, 100% is. And what is actually going to be spliced into every other version, and you live viewers will get to see it next week.
Yep.
Sal and I got to talk to Todd McFarlane about their prototype for the Vin Diesel action figure coming from the Bloodshot movie.
Yeah. So it's technically the first time you get to see Vin Diesel as Bloodshot.
Yeah, and it looked the action figure looked really good. I was excited about that. Talking to Todd McFarlane was really epic too. We got to talk to him about Bloodshot. He mentioned Spawn, and it was something else, toy industry in general, and how he built it up and everything. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that, and that is all because of the Valiant company. So we really do appreciate your support with that. Long story short, the only reason you guys haven't seen this much on the YouTube channel lately is because they kind of had a slower year last year. That's pretty much it.
Right.
But they're back and going strong again. You want to add
they
anything
got a
else to
lot of stuff
Bloodshot?
coming out that like they're really pushing and more.
I'm excited for the Roku book. The Roku book is
Cullen Bunn writing a 4-issue mini about a badass woman warrior trained by MI6. Give me a break. Like, I'm so
right. If you
interested.
read the Ninjak run, then you would know this character, but her hair is a weapon, but not lame like Medusa. Like, it's like sharp and she cuts people. Dude, I never understood Medusa that like she can control her hair. And she does like nothing with it. Like,
no, it's just tentacles. She just grabs
it's just
people.
tentacles that she grabs people with. I'm like, that's the lamest power ever.
Yeah. No, she's cool. The writer's amazing. The art looks great. Like they're really pulling out all the stops over Valiant to at least give you like something creatively satisfying. It's not just like, oh, there's a movie. Here's a Bloodshot comic. Like, no, get Tim Seeley to do a Bloodshot comic. Like, oh, and it's like, say what you will about Brett Booth's art. It may feel dated, but that's the date you want. Like, the action sequences alone are just dope. Like, it's just a dope looking comic, and so if you like that kind of thing, you're gonna enjoy it. If you're just looking for some fun, it's just a really cool book. So check it out if you haven't already. But check out Valiant. Like they're doing stuff. They're doing good stuff.
Actually, we got a comment there saying that the figure looked good, but the face sculpting was off. It's actually funny. I actually liked the face sculpting, and the joke I made about it was they even got Vin Diesel's neck rolls in there. Like
they did. He looks
I don't know what one they put out publicly and what we saw. I don't know the difference, so I don't know. Like,
they released like a publicity photo like of the prototype. I saw it on Bleeding Cool today, and I was like, that's not a very good. I mean, you got to see it in 3D. Like, you got to see it in person.
Yeah, we're not even trying to hype this up because you guys know my rule. My rule is I don't accept any direct payment from companies because we only discuss things we enjoy.
Yes.
I've done that since the beginning, and we're going to continue to do that. And that's why I'm talking about the parts of Valiant that I enjoy. So that's why we're doing that. The figure we saw looked like oddly just like Vin Diesel, to the point where a joke was made by one of the staff members or somebody else there, I can't remember, that they had just bought the Fast and the Furious mold and they just recast his face, and I was like, that would be hilarious if they did that.
No, it looks cool. I don't know. It was really fun to see a prototype figure. That's a bucket list of mine. I've always wanted to see
while talking to Todd McFarlane
action figure from McFarlane, because I have a ton of those figures.
but while talking to Todd McFarlane. getting to shake his hand. And that man is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Benny and Sal for Absolute Comics here because Valiant brought us here to hang out and talk to Todd McFarlane about the new Bloodshot action figure related to the Bloodshot movie.
Right?
Yes.
Coming out soon. Yeah, it's
Yes.
super cool.
You excited about the movie?
You know what? It's interesting. Every time they try to bring a new franchise in Hollywood,
Right.
there's an unknown, right? So, am I excited about it? They haven't shown me any advanced footage. It sounds like it's going to be cool, but every one of these movies, to me, you have to wait, and then the public basically tells you whether they're going to be a giant success, a moderate success, or not, right?
Right.
So again, like this weekend we got the Joker movie coming out. It looks like it's going to track. So now, if it makes only $50 million, they're going to think it's it didn't do what they wanted it to do. And if it does 80, everybody's going to be dancing naked, right? So there's this range that everybody comes into. So I don't know what the final budget is, what they're expecting on it. But if it works, then you've got a franchise.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've got a Bloodshot 2 and a Bloodshot 3, and the studios are getting all excited, and they're looking for new material out there in the comic book world again. And they go, hey, you can go beyond Marvel and DC material and still have success with it. So.
I mean, yeah, it'll be a great example to show that we can go beyond Marvel and DC.
Right.
I've
Well,
been following Bloodshot for a while.
well, just so you know, the other studios must go beyond Marvel and DC because Disney, that owns Marvel, and Warner Brothers, that owns DC, are not going to share.
No,
So
they're not.
all the other Paramount, and Universal, and Sony, they all have to start looking elsewhere. So if this works, and they go, hey, there's good ideas. I mean, you see this entire place right here that has a bunch of good ideas, right? I mean, we put 70 books out at Image Comic Books, Valiant puts out, and then they'll go, oh, so there's still good ideas that are beyond Marvel and DC, which is the upside for anybody that's sort of smaller than them, right?
Right.
So I'm hoping, for me, just on a greedy level, for a couple of reasons, I hope we sell a bunch of toys, and it's just good for independent ideas that will broaden the horizons for the companies that are looking for it right now.
Right.
Well, and building the franchise, they couldn't have picked a better group to make their action figure. I mean, McFarlane Toys it's the titan of the industry. When you want articulation, when you want likeness, you go to you.
Well, and that's very kind, but let me tell you the reality of the world.
Sure, yeah,
The
let's
reality
hear
of
it.
the world is that in 1994, when we started, we've been doing it for 25 years, I was like the lone wolf.
Yeah.
Right? I came in, I went, I don't understand why toys can't look cool. And so that was really the impetus of me starting the company. And so we got a ton of street cred because we were the only ones out there. And
Right.
then it laid a blueprint to say you can make good-looking toys that can look high class. And now we're 25 years into it. And if you go to a toy fair or even this convention, you now see dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of toys that are super cool.
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
when I went to my first toy fair, there was only about 2 out of hundreds that I walked by and said, wish I made those. and now there are literally hundreds that I go, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because the idea was when we started was to just raise the bar to the consumer.
Right.
Because the consumer doesn't care who's making it. They just care whether it's a brand that they like and whether the quality's there at a price they can afford.
Sure.
Right? And if you can do those 3 things, then it works. So we try to do our best, but we're now 2019. There's lots of good companies doing really, really good product out there right
Yeah.
now.
Well, including this figure. Now, how
Yeah.
involved in the process do you get at this point? Do you sign off on any of it? Do
Oh, all
do
of
you
it.
get into the sculpting?
Sure, dude, I don't forget that at the top of every one of those toys has got my name.
That's
so
right.
It's like I've got to do that. So look at when you're doing something that's from an existing library.
Yeah.
Especially if it's from a TV show or a video game or a movie.
Right.
Then the design's already done. Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to do a lot of design work.
That's fair.
So what we have to do is just say, do you have good reference?
Right.
Right. And sometimes, as simple as that may be, they don't
don't.
have good reference because
Yeah.
they're going, no, they're just doing all the cool stuff in the movie right now.
Right.
So we go, okay, well, I've got some good sculptors. We'll try and make it as realistic as possible because let me tell you what the goal is of doing something, a character like
Sure.
this. And it's true with any real person. If you get it right from the neck up, it's a good looking toy, right? If you can get the likeness and paint it properly,
Right.
people go, oh my God, look at how good that toy is. If you get it right from the neck down 100% and you don't get the head, people go, I don't like that, it's a bad toy, right? The money is here, And so if you're going to do, in this case, a Vin Diesel, then it better look like him, because if you miss it, they don't care that I got the pouches right.
Yeah.
They don't care that I got the guns right. They're not going to care about whether the boots are accurate. If you can get the neck up, then and you get the rest done, then they're going gravy to them, right? So the hardest task is trying to get accuracy on a human being at a half an inch.
Okay.
And then at a half an inch, what
Right.
makes it even harder is that you get hand painting at factories, and if you even breathe wrong, the eyebrow looks a little odd because you're dealing with such a small scale, right? Because when I go and get approvals to any of my figures, we send them like these big headshots, and they're like always nitpicking. Oh, the nose needs to be, but I try to also put next to it the actual size of the head. I go, I understand what you're looking at on here, but don't forget that we're talking about
like a quarter of an inch.
A half an inch. So when you say make the nose a little thinner,
Yes.
I will bet your child's life that I can actually show you the one that's before and after, and you won't be able to see the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Because making a thinner nose is literally like 1/100th of an inch that the eye can't notice, right? I mean, if I got the eyes crooked or the face is too fat, those are easy. Those are noticeable things.
Right.
But when you're talking about, I think the nostrils need to be a little wider. I mean, it's such a tiny move that you're overthinking it, right? So I always try to take all my toys, when I'm looking at all my toys, and I shrink them down going, does that look like instantly who it's supposed to look like? And if the answer is yes, you're in the zone. And if the answer is no, we got to keep working on it.
Right. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm a huge collector of toys and statues and all this kind of stuff. And I have to approve everything with my wife before I can bring it in the house. And it's always the face. She'll always look at the face, and that is the first thing she sees. It doesn't matter if I'm like all around these really cool like action, like all the additional accessories, and look at the poses I can put it in.
Yeah.
If the face doesn't look right, she doesn't care.
No, because it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong, and you wasted your money.
That's exactly what she
Right?
says.
She's going. So all the rest is, okay, they got the face wrong. Like it could have been any other character then.
Yeah.
They got it wrong. So it's not an easy thing. Sometimes they'll do. You guys have heard that they make toys from scans.
Yeah.
But even still, scans they can go a little soft, so you have to come in there. And I mean, we've done plenty of actors over the years, and I can say in all honesty, some have come out better than others.
Yeah.
Right? But when you do get it,
Right.
this is the frustration. It's like any sports. Athletes are always frustrated that when you get it, you go, so it's doable. Why can't I do it again? Right?
Yeah.
And that should always be your goal. You just go, man, I just made a 3-pointer. Why can't I do it every time?
Yeah.
But there's an inconsistency with the human being, right?
Right.
So you do the best you can, and luckily with this one, I thought we got a pretty good likeness on it.
I think you did.
Oh, it looks
you
spot
nailed
on.
it.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to ask you about that. Since the movie isn't out and no one's really seen anything about it for the most part,
Yeah.
how much did they give you enough to work with on Vin Diesel, or did you have to take some comic book likeness?
Well, we just asked them, what do you want us to do? And if you don't give us the reference,
Yeah.
we have a deadline. If you want us to get it out by the time the movie's coming out, then we're either going to have to make it up, find other reference, like you're saying,
Yeah.
in the comic book, or you're going to have to get it to us real quickly. So they were pretty good about it. The costume isn't very flamboyant. Let's just be realistic, right? There's not a cape. There's not like a lot of big primary colors on
Right.
it. So, we were asking like, okay, well, what's on there from head to toe that we'll be able to have some fun with? So to have it'll feel like a cool toy, right?
Right.
I mean, obviously you've got sort of the pale skin, so you've got that one right there.
Yeah. Got
there's some conversations about how prominent the circle is going to be on his chest, one way or the other, and then it's like, okay, but throughout the movie, is there any other? Does he use a big special weapon at the end? I don't know I don't know what the script is. Is there some cool weapon that he uses?
Yeah.
We've got to get it, or is there even a moment?
Yeah.
Right, where
Yeah.
his shirt gets
Right, does he
tore
pick up a
off?
fire hydrant or something?
Right,
Like, give
or
him an
something,
accessory.
right. But sometimes even the people that are licensing don't even know that.
Right,
It's,
yeah.
it's weird that there's sometimes a disconnect between people making movies and then the licensing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, especially when you're doing the green screen and special effects,
Right.
a lot of that comes really late in the game.
Yeah.
So they just don't know. So,
Right.
So by the time they actually have the data and they go, oh my gosh, Todd, there's a super cool thing we want you to use.
Figure's
I go,
done.
The figure's done. As a matter of fact, it's shipping. It's on the water.
Yeah.
It's coming because that movie's coming.
Yeah.
Like in a month.
Yeah.
we
If it
gotta-
does well enough, we'll do 2.0, but not now.
and that's it. You can, if anything works and it's successful,
Yeah, they'll do another.
then there'll be lots of hunger for people to go, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
And then we can come back and backfill into it.
Right.
Even if it's a missed character, there's another character in the movie that happens to pop.
Yeah.
Then we can come back and we can hit that.
It reminds me of the movie Maniacs line and how you captured the likenesses and the whole spirit of the film in like one figure. And what attracted you to this project? Because it feels like a movie Maniacs figure. It feels like it's that kind of idea of like a classic, kind of action hero or
one of the
horror
things I think
character.
probably putting that in, you're setting your mind there is a lot of the movie Maniac stuff that we did was we just took the A star
Yeah.
and whoever was the one figure that you knew that you could sell,
Right.
And then you didn't worry about anything else.
Well, I feel
right?
like that was
So-
kind of like a personal thing. I mean, like you picked the Fly. You got like the Thing. You got figures that like clearly there was some love there.
But we didn't take the second person in that
Well,
movie.
no, that's true.
right?
Yeah, you didn't.
So
yeah.
to be interesting to see, like I said, if this thing really worked, then there should be multiple.
That's true.
Bloodshot figures, and there might even be a breakout character. I don't know.
Yeah,
right? None of us.
but you
who
wouldn't
stand
know 'cause
here,
you haven't seen the
we'll-
movie,
We'll
yeah.
know once the movie comes out. If it's worth expanding, we're gonna do it.
Totally.
Right. So I anxiously await it as much as the retailer. The thing that gets a little bit interesting too when you're dealing with the retailer is that, they don't know how big this is going to be, so they hedge their bets sometimes. And so they go, well, we don't really hear a lot of buzz about, Bloodshot. And it's like, because the movie's not out. So once the movie comes out, then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, the movie was hot.
Right.
I need it. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, if I just start making it now, it's going to be almost a year before you get the product.
Yeah.
So we have to, we're constantly hedging our bets, hoping that we've got some inventory so that if it does work,
You're ready to
Then
meet
I'm-
that demand.
but if it doesn't work,
You
then
don't
I've got
wanna over-
I've got inventory that I can't
You got
sell. to
warehouses.
anybody.
Yeah,
so
forget it.
So there's this balancing act that goes on here. But like Vin Diesel has a huge following. I'd put him, again in this sort of, like The
like
Rock,
right, like the current action hero kind of.
Yeah.
Right. When I was a kid, I'm
was
way
Arnold
older than
or-
you guys. It was like it was Van Damme, right?
Yeah.
He was like there was like 2 or 3 guys that were back there that you just went, oh my god. So now there's like these 2 or 3 guys that are the current action hero guys. He's one of them.
Yeah.
So hopefully if they cut a great trailer,
Yeah.
there'll be a giant curiosity. They'll get a good opening. Everybody will go, and then we'll just see. And hopefully there's 4 more movies of it. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you have? I mean, we're kind of coming to the close of our interview here.
Sure.
Do you have any final thoughts that you think about Bloodshot, like just in general?
No,
Being from Image and handling Spawn and doing your own not DC Marvel characters.
My guess would be if I was to talk to the people at Valiant, and I don't necessarily know them personally, but that they're going, finally. I think they're going like me. I'm trying to get the Spawn movie made.
Right.
It's like finally, right? Because Bloodshot's been around a long time,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Valiant, the company, has been around a long time. And the character's been around a long time. And I'm sure if you would have asked them, they would have liked to have seen the movie made 10 years earlier.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
Because
right when the whole train started of all the superhero movies.
So you just hope for the right moment. I mean, somebody in Hollywood told me, Todd, the right time for a movie to get made is when it gets made, right? So just basically be patient. So I'm hoping, like at my end for like the Spawn movie, that this Joker movie comes out.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, if this movie opens up to 80 million, then everybody in Hollywood's going to be going, you know what we need? We need
that Spawn
R-rated.
picture.
We need R-rated, serious, dark comic book material, because that was the hottest, latest thing this
Right.
weekend. Because
Yeah.
they like to replicate, right?
That's true.
And you'll be right there
And
with
then I'll
Spawn.
come, and I'll go, you know this thing I've been trying to shove down your throat the last 3 years that's R-rated, dark, and comic book? And it's like, oh, yeah, but we weren't ready for it now. So maybe on Monday might be a good time for me to start going back to the studios
Yeah,
going,
maybe.
Joker, comic R-rated dark, Spawn, comic R-rated dark, and issue 300 came out and was the #1 book in the nation. So
Congratulations
you
to that,
know,
by the
just,
way.
Just go. So, anyways, we'll see. We'll see if any of it works. And anytime comic book material works, as a whole, then it's good for all of us.
Right.
Right. This is that, a tide rises all the boats. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for the interview. You know who Todd McFarlane is. That's Sal. I'm Benny, and we'll see you next time. And thank you to Valiant for having us out here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Absolute Comics. Sal and I are trying to not just cut, it's time to end. We're trying to actually just have full discussions and stuff like that. And that's why the episode is going to be much longer than normal. And you get the interview with Todd McFarlane for you live viewers over at twitch.tv/comicstorian. When we film this live on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll show you that interview next week, as it's just not ready to go out at the moment. By the time this gets uploaded video-wise to other locations, it'll be there. If for whatever the reason it doesn't exist and basically Dylan just kind of jumped in real quick and said, we'll have it next week, then we'll have it next week because it wasn't ready to go out yet. Right. But I'm pretty sure we'll have it ready in time for this to go public with other locations. We actually have a discussion with Heather Antos about Valiant's future and stuff like that they're doing. That'll be in next week's episode, along with Sal and I doing our usual discussion of comics, movies, and video games. Video games when they relate to comics. That's why we're not talking about like Destiny.
No.
If you want to support the show and you want to make sure that this show does not end, then please consider subscribing right here at Twitch. You can also go to our sponsor for the entire podcast network, G Fuel, and use the code COMICS at checkout. Or you can go to our merch store and grab the Absolute Comics t-shirt, which should be up by tomorrow. You can also get early access to this podcast by going to the Comic Pop Patreon, which is patreon.com/comic pop.
Yep.
Or patreon.com/comicstorian. For our lowest tiers, you get access to this podcast, and it goes up pretty simultaneously. We kind of hit each other up and say I'm launching now, so it shouldn't have too much delay on either side.
Yeah. Usually it's like you put it up and then you call me and you're like, it's up. And then I'm like, here it is.
Yeah. And you can always catch it for free right here on Twitch or on the YouTube channel, which as time goes on will be renamed to Absolute Comics. I hope you guys enjoyed. You can go find more from Sal over at the Comic Pop channel, and you can watch me right here at our Twitch channel or at Comicstorian, the main channel. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next week right here at It's Not the Weekly Poll, it's Absolute Comics with Benny and Sal.